Hey, I'm Al Cornell. Thanks very much for joining me. I am in Vancouver, British Columbia right now, chatting with an old friend of mine, Ron Coombs. Ron is the president of our newest sponsor company. The name of the company, I guess I should say, is White Tiger Resources. Before we started filming, I've spent a fair amount of time researching this company, met with the staff, the geologist, et cetera, chairman this morning along with Ron, and I have to tell you, this is a very, very interesting one. Now, you guys have pretty much everything going for you right now in the sense that you are in Ontario and you are just a hop, skip, and a jump north of Toronto, he said tongue-in-cheek. You're off a main highway that actually starts in Toronto.
You're right, Al.
Right.
We're just north and east on Highway 11. The property is quite accessible via the highway, and it's an all-weather road, so we can work the property all year round.
Yeah. Now let's talk a little bit about the property itself first of all. What does the asset consist of right now?
We've got this Marshall Lake property. It's an old, well-established mining camp. The problem with it historically was that nobody had ever put all of the properties under one umbrella, which we've succeeded in doing in the past 3 years. It's got copper showings throughout numerous locations on the property. But what was really exciting is there was a brand new discovery in 2008, a new copper discovery that was pretty exciting. And what we've done is we've taken about $30 million worth of historical work, and we've put it all together into one data compilation. So for the very first time, we were able to look at all that information and then with the modeling, determine where we should be drilling. And the first choice was the new discovery that we made in 2008 because it linked up with some pre-existing showings.
Mm-hmm. You and Doug Mason were telling me this morning that it's not only, we're talking about a copper-gold situation, if I'm not mistaken.
It's copper, silver, and gold.
Copper, silver, and gold, yeah. And in terms of exploration, you guys have dropped some pretty powerful drill holes recently.
Yeah, we're really excited about this property because for the very first time, we've been able to now look at through what we've been drilling, and we've drilled 100 meters along strike, small step outs, 25 meters, 25 meters, and then step back to drill down dip on the deposit because it's three-dimensional. So we've been very successful so far in the first phase of the program here in basically understanding the model and then understanding the strike. And now we're going to embark on a very significant 10 to 15,000 meter drill program coming up. And this is Canada's newest copper discovery.
And that's starting really eminently, if I'm not mistaken. So you guys are going to work year-round up there?
We're going to drill this thing all year round. Our focus is because it's right off of the highway and it's got all of the near infrastructure, et cetera, we're able to work this thing all year round. And the real exciting thing is there's smelters not too far away.
2 of them, if I'm not mistaken.
That's correct, and they're crying for copper right now.
Sure, sure. You know, I'll tell you, it's an interesting situation when you have a company that's got both precious metal values and base metal values, because I'm in the camp, along with Lawrence Ralston, for example, that base metals, I think, because of the demand coming out of the Far East, specifically mainland China, one of the fastest growing, certainly one of the fastest growing economies in the world, if not the fastest major growing economy in the world, they've got an insatiable appetite for copper right now. The other side of the coin is the Chinese government is strongly supporting investment on the part of their citizens in precious metals.
Yes.
I mean, we're talking about a huge demand here.
You look at all of the most recent analyst reports, and they're all in agreement that copper's going to do one thing here, and that it's going to go through the roof. And and so when you look at that, and then you look at the fact that this deposit starts right at surface, it's a remarkable story. It hasn't already been discovered.
Well, when Stefan was showing us, Stefan being the chief geologist for the company, was showing us earlier the model of this particular deposit, it is very, very impressive, I have to say.
Yeah, no, we're on to something big here, we believe, and of course, when you combine that with the talent that we have within our organization, we have Bob Middleton, who's supervising the drill program there. Bob's been involved he was involved as far back in other projects such as the Hemlo discovery.
Sure, right.
He's a pretty renowned guy, and you look at the other factors. Doug Mason, our chairman of the board, had a couple of very successful,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he's probably one of the sharpest businessmen up here. There's no question about that in my mind.
And he's
Yeah.
a brilliant guy, and
Yeah,
it's
he
a real
actually is.
pleasure working with Doug.
Sure, sure. Your background isn't exactly thin either, so to speak. I mean, you've been in the business for what, 20 years?
17 years now, but
Well,
we're
you
pressing
know.
20. Don't make me older than
All
I
right,
am, Al.
all right. I'm going to try not to do that. Who should we chat about so the folks can get a better idea of the actual team? Anybody you've left out? Stefan, for one.
Well, Stefan's dad was a mining engineer, so
Right.
he's a second generation bright kid, and you know we've got an entire mining department downstairs. We've got size of economics with our group of companies, so we're able to retain all the help that's necessary on a full-time basis. It gives us a huge benefit.
Yeah. Want to say a couple things in the interest of full disclosure. Number one, White Tiger is a sponsor on our website. That means that you can simply click on their logo, get all the information that you want. That's point number one. Point number two is that Big Al and his wife are going to be purchasing shares in this company. We will, before we do that, we will give the required 3 days notice so you know exactly what we're doing. And then lastly, remember, I'm not a registered investment advisor, so don't construe this as being investment advice, because it isn't. I'm simply telling you what we are doing. If you choose to follow up and do some investigation, we provide that avenue for you. Mr. Coombs, always a pleasure, buddy.
Oh, it's been a huge pleasure. And just in closing, Al, I think it's really important that everybody should look at the logistics of White Tiger.
Sure.
You know, so many companies have 100 million, 200 million shares. Here we've got a company with a brand new discovery, 10 million shares issued and outstanding. What a great story.
The significance of that is huge. Thanks for watching.